Hi, everybody. Welcome to a Gathering of Eagles podcast for what is today? March 3rd. My God, we're in March already. Welcome. We've shifted this a little bit so it's more free form. We'd like everybody to participate who wishes to. And those who want to just listen, that's fine too. David Redhawk. Yes, we know David. In comes David.
Glad to see David make it. That's good to
Yeah. Hey,
see you.
David. Glad you made it. So we got a good representation today. Why don't everyone who's right here at least just say where you're from and just one or two words about what's on your heart, your spirit right now.
Sure, I'll start off. Mark Mangus calling from Talent, Oregon, Southern Oregon. And what's on my heart is openness, love, and clarity.
Perfect. Anybody else want to go? Or are we good? Nobody has to answer anything, by the way.
I can go.
All
I'm
right.
Valerie, and I'm from up by Green Bay, Wisconsin. Um, I've been working on trying to stay grounded through things we're all going through. It's just not letting my mind get off on things. And when I catch myself doing that, just I have like right now, I think it's Aberdeen. I have a rock in my pocket. Rocks are my friends. And so I've been like just grabbing it today. And, Chris, who had our little kiwis not in here, he would help me out on this. But just,
Yeah.
I like the ones that are not polished, but are rough.
Yeah, me too.
And they just, it works for me. So that and talking to plants and went out and threw some food down for the squirrels. We still have frozen ground up here, so just anything like that, it helps me tremendously. And doing art, um, I can feel an immediate shift when I pick up my paint pens or whatever. I just that grounds me because what I do is put my energy into that little thing I'm coloring or whatever, and that also works for me. So
Cool.
coffee stick in the middle.
We have somebody coming on. It says Zoom user. Dare we risk it or not?
I don't know. It's kind of rough after last week.
I know. Yeah. We got hit last week, Mark. But we
At
cannot.
least it's not another Valerie.
That's right. We had 2 hours. A scary thing in itself. Let's give it a try, and I'll keep my finger near the switch. Could be Chris. Who knows?
Oh,
And let's see. Ta-da. Zoom user. Hello, Zoom user. Or maybe not. Unless one of you. Okay. I'll go. Jim Graywolf. I'm Sedona, Arizona. Just sitting here. I did some unexpected ceremony today. We were just chatting before the show, getting called on for prayers, ceremonies, teachings. It's really neat, but it's busy as heck. I can feel my extra years sometimes. On the other hand, it keeps me younger because I keep moving. So here, we'll just see how this develops. I'm getting a lot of great comments from people who are listening. And Valerie and I were just chatting. We're getting a lot of hits now on the shows, which is great. And we have people picking them up and then resending them out through their links, which is even better, because that's what we're here for. Anything that helps right now is why we're here. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Anybody else want to check in?
Yeah, I'm David Redhawk. I'm from Youngstown, Ohio, and yeah, I'm trying not to watch too much of the news because of the situation going on in Iran. Because I was in Desert Storm, and it brings back a lot of memories, and you know, I don't know, it's just kind of rough for me. Uh, Brings back a lot of nightmares, and I have a hard time, sleeping. When I do sleep, I get a lot of flashbacks, and it's kind of rough. So I've been asking people to say prayers for the service members and their families that really don't have no choice in the matter. They got to follow orders. So they're there doing their job and what they're supposed to be doing, whether they agree with it or not, or whether we agree with it or not. Of course, I'm too old to go back, so all I can do is just sit and watch, and pray for the younger generation, that they don't have to go through some of the stuff that I had to go through. So yeah, I'm asking people for their prayers for the service members and their families.
You got it. So here's the circle. Let's keep that in our energy as we go through the show tonight too. And I'm hearing from quite a number of people in the service as well. And although you're kind of right, David, you're also not right. There's apparently a lot of discussion going on right now within some of the military about whether they're going to follow some of these orders or not, because most of them are illegal right now. There's no way. I mean, they're ignoring Congress. They're doing everything. It's almost like they're trying to start a world war, and perhaps they are. So I keep them in my prayers. I go all the way back to the Vietnam conflict, and but about 4 of my good friends never made it back from that. So the ones that did and are still around, I heard from a friend this morning who still has Agent Orange all these years later. He's still alive, and he was just so depressed. He's going, is there no way we ever learn? How many times do we have to repeat this? And I think we're at that time now, which is what I told him. We're at that time in prophecy. We're right now at the point where we're shifting over. So let's keep the faith, keep the trust, keep the prayers going, like David said, and keep doing our work. Take action, speak up, do prayers, do ceremony, whatever feels right to you. And we will get through this. Hey, Melissa, how are you? Melissa's one of the other hosts. Anything to toss in the beginning here?
Good evening, everybody. So happy to be here. And I kind of heard a little bit about what you were speaking with Valerie about. And hi, I'm coming from Long Island. I am a social worker, soul worker, I call it now. Theologian in training. I'm midway through seminary at Union Theological Seminary. I'm really proud of that. So a lot of beautiful civil rights leaders walked those halls and preached there. And I just this led me to here. I do some music, I do some drumming, and Uncle David here, he's part of. We're doing a drum circle on Saturday mornings, so that's something we can do in terms of the prayer. And thank you for your service, Uncle David. It's I had a social work student of mine who was a vet who just passed away last month. He was the creator of Bravo Foxtrot, which is a nonprofit on Long Island, because Suffolk County, Long Island, is home to the largest population of homeless veterans. So he was a bright light. We just lost him last month. And so a lot of this drive that I feel so passionate about now in my career. I just turned 50 last week. I was with y'all on my 50th, and I couldn't think of a better way to spend my day. So what I wanted to say was, like, what during this time, and I was thinking the same thing, gosh, I haven't really watched enough news. I hope nobody asks me specific details about what's going on, because you know what? I don't know. And you know what? Like, it's not that I don't know. I know, my heart knows. I know we're human, and we are really getting a spanking because we have not been playing by the basic natural law of integrity. So I put on my Tibetan Freedom t-shirt from 1996. I was here, and that was my first encounter, I guess, with Buddhism and this advocacy work. And just, we were at the East River at Randall's Island, and we had the Beastie Boys were playing, and they had these Buddhist monks come and bless the East River and create a living mandala. And I was there, and I think I was activated all those years ago, and remembered. So, my passions here really are children and freedom, and what does that look like? So I'm so happy that we're gathering and that we can come together in prayer. I have a lot of ideas. So I was going to say, like, what do you do to kind of clear and get inspired and keep you going? Because, man, I've been in some funk. It's been a rough go. And I'm not going to lie, 3/3 full moon at 3:33 blood clips. And, like, come on, that's a message if I've ever heard one about this shift today. And so I'm interested to see where Spirit leads us tonight in our discussion. They've been so fruitful and beautiful. And if I can, when we're ready, after we're done with introductions, I would love to do an invocation to the Cosmic Mother to open up tonight. That's what I was pulled to. So thank you and welcome.
Sounds good. Yeah, that's a great. And I see down in there's somebody in the waiting room, and all they're identified as 1, 2, 3. If you're listening, 1, 2, 3, want to tell us who you are first? We're being careful after last week when we got slammed by somebody who was not a pleasant being. But I see down in the lower right, we have straight from Kiwi land, Mr. Christopher. Welcome, brother. Right down in the lower right, perhaps we have Mr. Christopher. we have his computer anyway. There he comes.
Yeah, if I take it off mute, it works better.
It really does. It's amazing.
Yeah, and a pleasure to see everybody here. And I didn't quite catch the first part of what you shared just before. I like this idea of, are we talking to the mother?
Yeah, so Melissa will open in a couple minutes here, and we'll go from there. Okay, I need another vote. We have somebody called 1, 2, 3. Do I let them in or not?
I wouldn't let them in.
Okay, I'll wait. Yeah, it's really makes it hard after last time. Again,
Yeah.
at least it's not 1, 2, 3 Valerie, so that's a good thing.
Yeah. And if they're still using the 1, 2, 3, I'd be suspicious.
Yeah, you need to put we'll start putting that when we announce these. Please put your name so we know it's actually somebody there. Especially with all the AI stuff.
We can include a link for people that have never bothered to learn how to change their name on Zoom.
That's right. That's right. Oh, Mark, you're one. We'll get you after the show or later. We need somebody to be able to change their things so their things are shareable, and I couldn't find it. Okay, good. So before we flip it to Melissa, it is a full moon tonight. It is the worm moon. It is an eclipse. So once again, we've got all kinds of energies going. Last week we had one of those most powerful energies in the universe. It was Melissa's birthday. But we don't have that this week, but we do have the worm moon. And that's traditionally means that the early spring is beginning, the worm's about to come up out of the ground. And the worm is also a symbol of love, since the worm, when he digs underground, only has one way he can go, and that's in the shape of a heart. So let's welcome in that moon energy and that worm energy as well. Okay, Melissa, want to open this up? And I'll shut up.
Ooh, all right. So if you have some smudge, feel free to keep that going, clear the energy. And I'm going to begin just with a little of the tuning forks. These are the angel tuners. We're just allowing as humans to be that bridge between heaven and earth. Just take a deep breath. Maybe you just see that beautiful 1,000-petal lotus at the top of your head. And allow that to open up and allow for that beautiful white light to come down from our great central sun. And allow it to just penetrate our physical body. So I was called to pull, this is a book called the Magdalene Manuscript. It's The Alchemies of Horus and the Sex Magic of Isis. So it's a little bit, it's a channeled text, but I like the story. I love the mother. And this, I love, I've used this often with some of my classes over the years, and it's just so beautiful. So the invocation of the cosmic mother. O great mother, divine feminine, birther of the cosmos, lover unto spirit, creatrix of all matter, and queen of all worlds within worlds, and those without, we call you to us in this honor. We are your children. Hear our call. We are the daughters and sons of your divine union, the flesh of your passion for life. You who may lay with spirit, our Father, in the beginning of time, and brought us forth from the blessed union of spirit and matter. We are your children, the sons and daughters of your flesh and your heart, and we remember your touch and the fragrance of your essence, and we long for you. Come to our hearts and gift us the remembering. Come to our minds and open our genius. Enlighten us with your presence. Draw back the veils that we might see, and hearken the doors to open, that beauty and ecstasy may live in our homes and hearts more fully. This is our hour of greatest need. We call you through fire and water, through earth and wind, through all that bears your name. We call all your lineages and all your names. Come unto us. Come into us. So be it. Now, we sign on.
Wow, that was beautiful.
Yeah, that really was. Thank you, Melissa. Whew, and more people are arriving, which is great. And our groups online are filling in. So Tom tells me they have 33 people there tonight, biggest ever. And there are 7 grandmothers in the other group. So we welcome all of you. We welcome your comments. Oh, we got from Tom, the group there on the res are just sending gratitude for being part of the show. They're all back now. The ones who were up in Minneapolis are now back. And so they're all together. And the young people there found that to be an incredible experience. We talked a little bit last week about that. And they're looking forward to pitching in tonight. Very good. And it looks like there's 7 or 8 grandmothers in the other group. So we keep spreading out. This is awesome. Welcome, Mel. And welcome, Grandma. Did I miss anybody else who came in? No, that's it. Okay. So we talked about, full moon. Something was triggered while you were doing that, Melissa, but I've already lost it. It will come back eventually. Whoops. And I have to turn this on so I can see. And from Mark, he's sending love from his heart. Looks like he's... Oh, you're still there. Okay, Mark. Yeah. Ooh. So much happening right now. I'm getting tons and tons of... Probably more than ever before. Me personally, on the things I do, a lot of fear-based stuff, a lot of confusion. A lot of, and I want to talk to this because some of you are probably in the same boat. A lot of people starting with, oh man, Jim, you're okay because you understand all this. But how do I deal with it? And the first thing, no. Yeah, some of us have had a lot of teachings over the years. We knew this was coming, but if you think I understand what's going on, you'd be wrong. I can feel it. I understand why it has to happen, I suppose. But we're all in this together. There's no, if anyone says, in my opinion, they totally understand what's going on and how we get through it, they are just as delusional as some of those who are doing these things. This is something we're creating as we go along. And I see it in the groups as well. I found it really fascinating, our Standing Rock group, which when Standing Rock was going on, I think we had like 300,000 people in there, maybe more. After that, it dropped. It went down to about 100,000 people. With everything going on right now, it's suddenly shot up to 125,000, and every day more are coming. So it's another place for unity. And I see unity as absolutely critical right now, and balance. We do the best we can to stay in that place. Stay in our hearts. Try to stay out of your heads. If you try to think this through, I caught myself doing it a couple times in the last few days and got out of there as quickly as I could, because then it's like, wait, it makes no sense. What do I do? So yeah, try to stay in your hearts and feel through it, would be my advice to those who have been asking. And some have asked me if I would start doing some teachings like I used to, and webinars, and I think I will try to do that because I've been doing so much around that I don't have time to go and make money to pay my bills too. So I'm going to try to find ways to do this so I can keep doing what I'm doing. And thanks to everybody who's doing their piece of this. Oh, stick in the middle. Who wants to grab it? We can go anywhere with this. Oops. Okay, we'll go to Pine Ridge. Okay, so the people from the Youth Council, the ones who were at the camp up in Minneapolis, wanted to share that the camp is still active. I saw that just yesterday. It looks like there's still about 50 people in there. And every day they have people from the community stop by to see if they need anything. So there's still a great effort at unity up there and what's going on, which is good to see, because I think the only way, and Tom was saying this for the group too, the only way to really make change is we have to do it. And I totally agree. We're not going to get it from anyone else. We're not going to get it certainly from our politicians. Any side, I don't care who they are. None of them are stepping up. We do have, and it came strongly, well, those of you who weren't on earlier, David was speaking about when he served in the military. And I thought back to Vietnam. The military is confused too, many of them, those who are in there in a good way. Because they're being given so many illegal, even unconstitutional orders. They're not quite sure what to follow right now. So everybody is kind of in that turmoil. And the Earth Mother's in that same space. There's some new studies out to back up studies that have been going on for 10 years, how close we are now to the drop dead point as far as climate change, and it becomes irreversible. Some say we've already passed it, some say we're too close to it. I don't see anything as totally irreversible. That's not how I was taught by my elders and by all the different prophecies. But we're certainly in the midst of change there too. So, okay, so in Pine Ridge, the group wants to know, what do we think about these things? What do we think about all these different, what's that? Pieces. Okay, all the different elements of this, I guess. How do we look at the whole picture? Can we? That's where they're at. Anyone want to take a stab at that?
Trouble raising my hand. I don't know. I'm on my work phone because I wanted to read something that I saw today. So I'm like, oh, I wanted to double task. So since we're in the spirit of the 90s, I came across a paper I wrote in 1998. I was at Hunter College. I was in it was a religion 111, right? And so I wrote about power and powerlessness in the individual. It's funny, you don't remember necessarily what you may have studied 30 years ago, wherever, how long it is, but I think it's important because so much I find is in our language. So much. And what we say and how we follow. So, civilization. I want to put that word out there. People were told to be civil. And that's what we're born, raised, be civil, be obedient. Right? So we're programmed right off the bat. So civilization, this is Freud, the father of psychology, that we're all trained in. So I'm trained in all of these different modalities. We talk about child development in different ways. We have Erik Erikson, we have Freud, but then do we really know who influenced Erikson? It was indigenous knowledge. So Freud writes, civilization, it includes all the knowledge and capacity that men have required in order to control the forces of nature and extract its wealth for the satisfaction of human needs. So I'm like, oh, why am I being brought to this tonight to read this? And I think it answers a lot. Like from the dawn of time, we're told to just listen and trust. We're not taught to ponder and question. It's more about just do as I say, not as I do. And when did that begin? So I think that there's another support for us to go back to our ancestors and those teachings of caring for the earth and the Great Mother. And I think that is the connection to nature, because our children and our educational system is, there's the war. Never mind what's going on overseas. It's in our living room and it's on our desk and it's in our children's face 24/7. And that's what's going on, I believe, is our disconnect. You know, you scroll through things and you see what goes on and the moral attitude and the virtues, we're so far from them in so many places. Not that there's not a lot of good going on, but we talk about harmony and we talk about balance, and we need more of the good news. We need more of the positive We need more of that love, heart-centered, not civilization. We need a new word. Talking stick in the middle.
Yeah, that's some great material. I totally agree with you. And, I'm going back 50 years. And the grandmother Val just put on here, time to break the programming. She's so right. We've been programmed all from the beginning, I believe. Certainly as long as I've been alive and before it. Told what to do, told what to think, told this is good, this is bad. And I remember my grandmother telling me so many years ago, and she was a medicine woman over in Europe, don't listen to those who would tell you how to take each step. And I really didn't know what she was talking about then. I was 22 when she passed. But this is exactly what she was talking about. And they were Romani Gypsy, and so they were out there on their own. So they did their own thing. They didn't listen to the powers that be. And they suffered for it. They almost got obliterated before World War II. So yeah, it's time to break the programming. And sometimes I get frustrated, but Melissa, there's so many positive things out there right now. Really positive things. And in a couple of our large groups, I'm trying now to invite people to come in and offer a positive thought, a positive picture, a poem, a song, just to balance things so. We can get swallowed up paying attention to this. I don't even have the right word. We do need a whole new vocabulary, you're right. Because how do you classify what's going on? But it's just time for unity. Stop the finger pointing, stop the judging. Stand by every person who's ready to do this and switch things around. We don't have to agree with them. We don't have to walk their walk. But we have to respect them and honor them and move ahead that way. That's what I think anyway. Mark, I think you were next, and I'll put the stick in the middle.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. Melissa, very poignant words. And what comes to me is the synchronicity of your words is really powerful, because I've been, as a lot of us have been, in this discussion a lot in the last couple of weeks, especially in the last few days with the new escalation of global conflict that it's hard to even escape from, even if you don't watch the news, which I don't. Everybody wants to talk about it. And what really occurs to me is what we're being shown on this programmed matrix that's in front of us is so extreme that it's shocking people into waking up. And that's its function, right? Those of us that have been on the awakening path by choice for some time are now I'm seeing people that I know only in a professional context that wouldn't identify necessarily as spiritual, right? But having conversations with them that are very authentic, and they're basically saying, what is happening? This can't possibly be real. Something else is going on, right? And they're taking the steps onto the path now to wake up, to awaken to the deeper reality, or the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain, whatever you want to call it. I don't even think we have to go to, tinfoil hat conspiracy land to draw logical conclusions about how our day-to-day reality is being manipulated, and how, whether we're oppressor or oppressed, we are choosing to give up our sovereignty by believing what's being shown to us. It's the same program that's been running for arguably 6,000 years, and it's a new the new season of the same show, right? So the more that we can get into, I love this term I heard this week, third space. So first space is your family. Second space is work. Many of us now don't have a third space. We used to, where we could get together with people and commiserate down at the pub or whatever, right? We don't do that anymore. we have this. So I look at this circle as a third space. And the more that we can encourage people to find that for themselves, because I believe that healing is done in community. We can't isolate. It's time, like Jim said, it's time for unity. It's time to come together, to find the third space, and to mirror each other. The most powerful thing we can do for another human being is to mirror their reality to them and them to us, so that we can see through the smoky lens and see clearly. And we can only do that when somebody is showing us ourselves with their heart. So that's what I have to offer. I put the stick back in the middle.
Yeah, great, Mark. Absolutely. Yeah, I love the way this is all fitting together. I'll pitch in here before I pull Chris up. Grandmother Val is saying for the grandmothers group, and there's several who were alive in the 60s. Some of them older than me. I like that. To bring that back in again. We have in other shows too, but I'll do it briefly. In the 60s, we had a lot going on. I was at Woodstock. One of the grandmothers here was at Woodstock. I fought the Vietnam War. I didn't know why. I was just a kid. I marched with Dr. King as a teenager. And what was going on then suddenly stopped. And Kent State was a big part of that. But now it's coming back. We actually opened a lot of doors that are reopening. And I think Standing Rock was another place we reopened doors. There's now so many more of us, and that to me is the most positive thing. I want to be here until this is done. And then I want to share the things I've learned and the things I've screwed up. And then I'll be willing to say, okay, I'll step down now. I'm out of the way. Let somebody else do it. But I think all those things have to happen, and they are happening. This is, I hate what's going on with this war. Another one. And as I said earlier, some of you weren't on yet. I had brothers who did not come back from Vietnam. I have one who's still alive and still suffering from Agent Orange all these years later, who was almost crying this morning as he's gone. When's it going to end? I think it's now. I think we're doing it. And so we just got to keep standing and hang in there and believe. With that, I turn it over to my brother Chris. I think he was next in the queue. If I screw that up, somebody speak up, because I'm looking at this too. You're on mute, Chris.
Yeah, take me a bit to get my screen to behave. Talking about this, learning to listen to the mother, following her directions. And I'm going to sort of go a bit deeper, and I'm not suggesting anybody said this, but this is things that I've learned to watch out for. As soon as I try and put it into words and talk from my mouth, I lose the connection with her, or I lose a significant portion of it. To be with it, I have to be still within myself, still the brain activity down, stop talking. And it's in that space, it's in the silence, the small, still voice within talks. And I find that's where I hear the mother, is when I've got that stillness inside, being present with her, listening to what's arising. And it often comes not as single words as a conversation we have here, but as a feeling, a vision, an intuition, a knowing. And it has a whole impression in one go. It's like something comes in, it's got all the descriptions, all the feelings, all the experiences, all the direction with it in a single instant. And it's learning to listen to that inner part of us that gives us the guidance, the direction, and the heart space to be. As soon as I bring my brain activity into it, it just becomes a theory and a series of words with no real meaning. And it's learning to transition from one to the other and know when we're in one and know when we're in the other, of what I call head noise becoming a distraction from the connection. And yeah, just something I wanted to share. So thank you.
Beautiful. Thanks, Chris. And this is all feelings, for sure. Brother Red Hawk, I believe you're next up.
Yeah, I just wanted in reference to what younger generation was asking. I don't know if they realize it, but our Bill of Rights came from the native people. It was brought to the United States of America from Benjamin Franklin, went to the natives and got the idea on the Bill of Rights. The problem is they will not put that in the textbooks. They do not teach that in the schools. So the younger generation has no idea that the concept of all men being created equal and all of that stuff that's in the Bill of Rights and the Constitution that formed this country in the first place is being all forgotten. They're forgetting where it came from, and they're forgetting the whole idea behind that concept. Uh, and they're using it to suit their own agendas. And until we as a people start stepping up and speaking up, they're going to continue to keep doing that as long as they know they can get away with it. And that was just something that I wanted to answer the boys with, just to give them a little information there.
Yeah, excellent point. And it's funny you went there, because when they were up, the four of them who went up there, actually I think five ended up there. Anyway, some of the tribes from back east were there, and they were talking a bit about that. So that's good to hear you speak it too. It helps them with that learning. And of course, the tribes were told they would have a seat at the table when everything was created, and then, like everything else, they were not. And right now what we're seeing is all that history trying to be eliminated. Black history, women's history, LGBT community history, all of it they're trying to just eliminate. They can try, they're not going to be successful. In fact, I think they're giving us more reason to stand up, like you're saying, David. And I want to remind everybody, this just came again also from our groups, March 28th is going to be some huge rallies. They're expecting more than 9 million people to be out in the streets. It's another No More Kings rally, but also a rally to stop the what's being done to our immigrant friends. Okay. Robbie, I think you're next. You're muted.
My own healing started as being part of a circle. I was after, I was invited to wear Madison Circle and taking part in the groups there has began my own healing. And I, it's not an individual thing. I could not do it alone.
Yeah, and I don't think any of this can be done alone now. No more lone wolves. Some of us were lone wolves for a long time. Some of us, in some ways, wish we could be lone wolf again. It's not going to work. And that is a good thing. Thanks for bringing that in, Robbie. That's really important. And I'm also, here's a powerful piece. again, from our youth council members that were up in the camp in Minneapolis. What's that camp name again, Valerie? It skipped my head.
It's Coldwater Springs,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
the kids will have to say it in native language. I keep forgetting.
yeah,
Oh,
that's okay. Yep.
yeah.
Coldwater Springs that were up there. So they're saying for their part, they went up there as young people with things to learn. Some of their um, some of their families did not want them to go and leave school to do this, but they think they went up as young people and came back as full warriors, peaceful warriors. We're coming back more adult. That's pretty powerful. And I'm not surprised. I actually expected to hear some of those things. And Tom has shared some of that. Again, I'm hoping to get a whole show with these guys before long. I'm working on you, Tom. Oh, I see we have another bird in the flock here. Welcome, Jerry.
Thank you.
Good to see you, brother.
Yeah, good to see you guys.
Oh boy, let's see. I'm seeing. Okay, Chris, you have your hand up. Stick to Chris.
Yeah, one of the things that became important with me and has been the most significant that I've received from her is how community is the way forward. The way she showed it to me in nature, no plant exists healthily on its own. It has a community around it. It has microbiome in the soil. It has other plants that it gives to and receives from. There's other aspects of nature that help break material down to be absorbed by the ground so the tree can receive it. You know, as we breathe, the tree receives from us and we receive from the tree in return. Everything's got that interactive cycle. And to me, this is what nature teaches us. When we watch nature, nothing lives in isolation. And this is one of the crucial points of that the mother has given me. Without community, there is no life. We need life for community, for health, for life as an energy, not just as a concept. You know, to feel alive, we do it in community. You know, we breathe in, we receive from the air, we receive from the water. If we don't receive these things and we receive food from the earth, without receiving from these things, we die. So it's acknowledging and realizing how much we are consciously and actively always a part of a circle somewhere. Talking stick in the middle.
Yeah, and I think like Melissa was saying earlier, all these words need to be redefined. Community has a whole different meaning now from anything that I'm used to. Melissa, is your hand up? I think it is.
Yes, if I could jump in, because these were my notes for my paper. So I love that I'm reading this handwritten, and it's so aligned with everything that we're speaking about. So, and this is from Freud, I think, The Origin of Religion. This is what this is taken from. So it's only through the influence of individuals who can set an example and whom masses recognize as their leaders that they can be induced to perform the work and undergo the renunciations on which the existence of civilization depends on. So I think that's interesting because it goes on. These leaders possess superior insight into the necessities of life, who have mastered their own instinctual wishes. So this goes back to, those different circles. So what type of practice do you have? How do you do that? And a lot of us, I know it helps when we are in community to continue on that rhythm and that routine. And that's what's taught. And that's what I love. I'm always going to pump as a former Waldorf teacher, and just the reverence, the rhythm routine that is taught in that type of soul-centered, heart-centered, whole child education. and it's connecting to nature. So here we go, and it's going to go on about nature here. The leaders seem necessary that they be independent from the mass by having means to power at their disposal. So it's, you're one, but you're separate, but you're together, right? So it's securely based on the psychological discovery that man is equipped with the most varied instinctual dispositions, whose ultimate course is determined by the experiences of your childhood. Again, back to our children. We have to, this is where, we could do all the advocacy in the world and all the protests in the world, but if we continue to train us as robots and do not have this heart-centered type of educational system, then, and not having true teachings. I know, Uncle David spoke, he's a middle school teacher as well, with our these youth that are just, they believe everything they see on a screen, and they go to school and they're given the screens and they're given the iPads, and it's most of their work that they have to do. And then they're subject to Snapchat, Roblox, TikTok, Fortnite, all of it on the school iPads. It's on my daughter's iPad. I'm in a battle with my home district about this. So nature has a way of restricting us. She destroys us because of these dangers with which nature threatens us, that we can come together and create civilization. For the principal task of civilization is actual reason, is to defend us against nature. What? Look at that. Such juice. Nature controls our power and forces us to become civilization. So that's just it. There's the disconnect. A big part of it. There's the root. And this is taught to everybody that's diagnosing everybody with a mental health disorder. And we can go on and on and on. I'm going to put the talking stick in the middle. But you see the root of all of this. Oh my goodness. Jim, you're muted now.
And what I was saying was really good. It's the second day out of 3 that I was asked to go do some ceremony down at Montezuma as well, a sacred place down below where I live here. And I went. I was a little cranky getting up early, but it all worked. And it was just what you're saying, Melissa. There's people there now who, and I know who some of them are, and I know how I get branded. I have for years. But there was one fellow who spoke at one point, and there was like 27 people, I think it was, showed up, something like that, high 20s, which was a lot. And he was apologizing to me and a couple others because a week ago he was calling us libtards and tree huggers and asses and dummies. And he says, now I sit here and a lot of what you were saying makes more sense. And can we have more things like this in nature? It was the nature piece that was coming really strong. And boy, I love, I don't care what they, what they want to label us, that's fine. But I do care that people who were sitting in that spot, some of them are now saying, wow, wait a minute, this isn't about what color hat do I wear. This is about do we survive or not, and I have kids too. So yeah, yeah, thanks, Melissa, that's great. Oh, Mr. Christopher, Kiwi Down Under.
Yeah, thank you very much for what you offered there, Melissa. Haven't had anything for a long time that's made me feel stirred inside so much where I want to jump all over it. I come back to what I've learned. When nature's In my life, to me, nature has been my greatest teacher. She's taught me about life. She's helped me learn when I use words that take me towards life, whether it's words, actions, behavior, emotions that take me away from life, and those that take me towards life. The ones that take me towards life is where I grow and heal. And having somebody say that we should be fighting that, to me, it's like it's a mini death. You know, you're dying in the moment of disconnection. You feel that vitality and aliveness. It's like somebody's just pulled the plug out. And that's what they're teaching people. Yeah, makes me want to jump all over it, the way it's been done. But I also know we've got a better way. And that's the knowledge that's held by those of us who do have a connection with nature. I've got a bit of that knowledge. Jerry's got a bit of that knowledge. You've got some of it, Melissa. Everybody else that feels that connection with nature has got something to offer that adds to this life. And to me, coming together in what we call community. But a lot of, for me, of learning about community is learning that we've never been separate in the first place. That was the illusion we've been painted as or been taught in schools. And we've going beyond that illusion of separation is crucial. Community is acknowledging we're part of a greater whole and realizing we're not just the part, we are the whole itself. So various places we could take this, talking stick in the middle.
Yeah, it's really good, Chris. We've never been separate, but we've been separated. And that's the problem. We've been separated forever. And now more and more people are waking up. And that's perfect. That's what we need. That's right. Let's just stand up. No one has all the answers. I've learned that much in all my years. No one group has all the answers. The women don't have all the answers. The indigenous people don't have all the answers. The youth don't have all the answers. On and on and on. I could keep the list going. We all carry part of the answer. And that's, I think, what we're starting to put together now. I know we are. I'm watching it. Mark, I think you're on, so stick to you, brother.
Yeah, thank you. Pick up on what Christopher was saying. I think the most insidious part of this pervasive programming matrix that we're in is how it's taught us to fuel the illusion by giving up our own sovereignty. Because it can't be done without our consent. It can't be done without our energy. And we've done it on a massive scale for thousands of years. We've given our consent to the illusion that we are separate, that, we are other. And if you've ever worked with kids, like high school kids, junior high kids, and you talk to them one-on-one, every single one of them, no matter what clique they're part of, feel like they don't belong on some level, right? And that was an aha moment to me when I started hearing that over and over again, because it made me realize how pervasive that programming is. That we take it on, that we're not good enough, that we're not enough, that we're not like the other people, and that's bad. And all these subtle and not so subtle ways to give up our sovereignty. And now we're seeing in this macro scale, this conflagration that's happening in front of us, that people are not making the choice that they think they have to make. They're making a choice so that they can feel validated by joining a group that's either for or against something, rather than realizing that their actual choice is to see the illusion or not, to buy into the programming or not. So it's really trying to make the unconscious choice conscious. If I had to boil down my mission when I work with people doing energy work or counseling, that's what I tell them. I'm trying to help you see that all the choices you're making in your life that are unconscious can be conscious. Talking stick in the middle.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. It's that programming which is just on and on and on, and they're still trying to do it, and now they're hitting walls, and it's frustrating them, which makes them incredibly dangerous right now. But that's all right. They're realizing their time's almost up. That's what I see, and we just have to hang in there and stay in peace. Stay in peace. I'll put this in and then sit it up to you, Robbie. I was sitting here with some pieces on LaDonna Howard the other day. For those of you who don't know LaDonna, she's the one that the young people went to in Standing Rock to get that whole effort going. And she dedicated her land, her piece of land there as one of the camps. And she's the one I worked with and went up at first. And there's some really nice write-ups about her going up right now. She died way too young from a brain cancer. But a couple of things they were asking, and some of our young people asked earlier, why didn't you say you were protesters? Why didn't you say you were going to stop this? And that's interesting, and that's one that I do know because I was there. When I was asked to start up the virtual part of this and get word out, and I went up there and sat with LaDonna and Miles, her husband, and a small group of others. Originally, I had put up online that we were representing Standing Rock protesters. And right away, I started getting pushback. And as we're sitting in circle, somebody just said, well, is that what we're doing? And for some reason, I said, well, actually, we're protecting the river here for the... And LaDonna grabbed that and said, that's what we are. We're Standing Rock protectors. So words are powerful, is my point here. We got to carefully choose the ones right now to keep moving this ahead. And I think we are. I mean, we make mistakes. I make them every day. But yeah, it makes such a huge difference. Are you a protester or are you a protector? Doesn't mean we can't be doing both. But how is the community seeing us, and are they willing to stand with us? So, yeah, thanks for that, Mark. Good one. Robbie, I think you were next.
One of the things I learned about communities, it's not necessarily in the place where you actually are. I've I I had to look further away to look for community because the answers I needed weren't to be found in my own culture. I brought up in where people taught to believe that your worth is how much money you can make, and people are just so disconnected to nature and everything else that really matters.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely right. I totally agree. There's a lot of typing going on here, but who has something? Who wants to jump in?
I just want to jump in
Go ahead, Melissa.
on Mark because
Don't jump on Mark, you'll hurt him.
You talked about the unconscious, right? So on my card for the regression work that I do is the young quote, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And the next line on this is fate. And I didn't know. I thought I was reading Freud. Some of these are actually my interpretations. They're asterisked in red. So I talk about fate. Freud talked about fate is untamed nature, which I thought is very interesting. So we are controlled by fate. I wrote, it threatens us in a way. And I wrote this, I'm a kid, right? So we humanize nature so that we can react. We try and rob nature of its power by appeasing it, by bribing it. So, I wrote here, it's like the elements of nature, earthquakes bury us, water drowns us, we're attacked by other organisms, diseases, like the parasites, that just keeps coming to me, something fierce. How, we're the only country that does not deworm and does not, they're not pushing, for us to clear ourselves and to detox our physical bodies. And I watch, you watch all these different videos and you do this cleanse. I've done a lot of different cleanses, and you're like, whoa, you just feel so different. You feel so clear. You don't feel so foggy and so heavy. And you know it's miraculous. I've been able to heal cysts from my body, and just by using different types of methods that were created, many, like the Gerson method, anything like that. We're given all. It's not just the education, it's the healthcare system, and every system that is connected to us is like, years ago doctors did not go to medical school. They intuited. Right. So I'm a big fan of Carolyn Mace. She was my teacher's teacher. And, and when I began having these medical intuitive experiences in the human body, it just shifted my whole approach to life. I was like, wait, what is that? I sat there as a regular therapist. And then when you begin to start to tune in to the energy field of yeah, we are all connected. We are all one. And so, we have to remember, and that's where I get down to discovering that own divine spark within, and that's what I do when I work with my clients. Is I see the same thing. I'm just a mirror. That's all I am to you. I'm here to reflect and to help you discover these patterns that are programmed in your psyche, in your different energy fields, and go from there. So I just love that you talked about fate, and that was the next little blurb there on that paper. There's no coincidences. And the third space, for many years, I've been running programs called Mission 33. So, and today's 3-3, and the moon was at 3-3-3. So divine, divine, divine. Talking stick in the middle. I see your hand up, Christopher.
Take it, Chris.
Yeah, one of the things that I often mention to people to do is look into the eyes of a young child, around 3 months, 6 months old, when they can start to make that eye contact and they get that wide open smile that they have. You look into those eyes and tell me you don't feel connection. And that's what we're all born as. And somewhere along the line, it tends to get bred out of people. And it's learning not to let go of that. We can feel it with young children, but we can actually grow that within ourselves. We recognize it and feel it because it's still there, sitting, waiting to be used. And we don't just get it with children, we can practice it. We can practice it with waters, with the trees, with our neighbors. Friends, anyone who's ready to sit down and just be in still space and breathe. And even with that breath, we start to feel how it's such a connected breath. That's nothing left out. So, talking stick in the middle.
Yeah, that's true. I had to drop in at the vet with my rescue pup today, just for a quick check. And one of the vet techs there, just as she took her in, was looking at her and, wow, look at those eyes on this dog. They look almost like Egyptian. It's like they're looking right through me. And so just to tag in, Chris, same thing we see in the young children, we can often see in the animals too, because they haven't been polluted by all this programming. Ah, a new voice. Mr. Jerry, how do I call you? Mignard? I got it wrong one time. Jerry.
Close enough. In creation times, the great mysteries had powerful gifts for everyone and everything created. Each creation was imbued with these beginning gifts. The first gift of beauty was love. Everything was given the power of love. This caused beings to cling together and care for each other in their nations, clans, families, and all relationships. The second gift of beauty was sound, speech, song. This allowed the power of love to be expressed, to strengthen all bonds. Everything emits its song as it moves through its life. Humans, birds, animals, stars, galaxies, everyone. The great mysteries had many gifts to give, but this meant that everything in creation was going to be a receiver, so that there would be both givers and receivers. Everything was identified as male or female. This was the third gift of beauty. The fourth gift of beauty was intuition, inner knowing. And it was in this way, and through this gift, that we could remain connected with all that is and all our relatives. In this way, we were always reminded that we are never alone, never separate. When we listen and practice as givers and receivers with these gifts of beauty, we will understand the lessons of this world of great beauty, and it will allow us to perfect our spirits during this earth walk. These four things will help with community, will help with balance within self, will help within balance within our families, our nations, our clans, and all relationships. Thank you. Stick in the middle.
Thanks, Jerry. Perfect timing. I got to catch a breath. Okay. I thought I saw. Who had a hand up? Is it Valerie or is it Chris? Or is
I've got mine
it...
up.
Chris has his hand up.
That shouldn't surprise. Just a quick wee thing. There's a saying I used to come across. When we look in a person's eyes, you can see their soul. And often those exercises where we sit and just have eye contact and breathe in rhythm together, in that synchronous rhythm, you really do sink into a person's soul. And I find the simple exercise of just sitting in eye contact with somebody, you can go so deep. And simple things like this, we can practice every single day. We can do it with a person, we can do it with the sound of a water or trees or wind or whatever. It's worth it. It's worth taking a few moments out to feel that space. And truth be known, when you get in that sense of connection that we have through that contact without words, it goes so deep we can sit with it for ages for those who've tried it. So, yeah, talking stick in the middle.
Thank you, brother. Ooh, I don't know where anyone is in the process, but I will be seeing the moon pretty quickly. And it is an eclipse, too. I don't know if I mentioned that. We got, from Tom's group, they're wondering if, and I see Melissa working with things there, if this is going to be another great coincidence. Can we pull a card from Sammy's deck and share what comes? We could do that. That's what she... You gotta... Hey, Tom, that's exactly what she has. She shuffled them now. So this is Jamie Sams, a wonderful friend. She's gone now. And her cards are great, and it seems to work well with between Jerry's story and the moon coming up the way she's about to. Maybe this is a good time to go to that. Are you ready with it, Melissa?
I am. the wild boar. All right. Number 48. It's funny. I had a couple of decks and I grabbed two, and the other one I'm like, oh, maybe I should. And it fell to the floor. And I said, nope, Jamie's a calling. I love her energy. Oh, I remember when I first discovered her work so many years ago. And then meeting you and knowing your connection was just, I was so beautiful. Oh, I have to change glasses. Hold on. This is 50. Hashtag. Okay. Wild boar teaches us to confront without fear, ripping apart the denials and lies that appear, testing courage, finding truth. Its medicine will remain a part of every human path, marking the victories we attain. Confrontation. Oh, you youth, you know it. I love you all. And I'm so proud of you. And I'm so honored to be here with you all. So please keep coming and spread the word and keep just true to your heart. We need you. Although I still feel like I'm 16. Although the warrior was accustomed to the sultry heat of his bayou homeland, he was shaking as if from a cold draft. The council of elders had caught him telling a lie. The punishment for this offense was banishment from the tribe. To restore his honor among the people, he would have to face the wild boar with a knife as his only weapon. If he failed, he would die, torn apart by the ravaging tusks of the fiery-eyed beast. This prospect filled him with dread. Then the spirit of the wild boar came down to him in a dream. It was enraged that the young boy had broken his warrior's vows by lying. It told him that he would first have to face the conqueror, the self-important and deceitful beast within himself, if he hoped to survive their combat. The young warrior vowed to honor the truth from that moment forward. He faced the wild boar that day and killed the beast. The warrior kept that tusk of his adversity as a lifelong reminder to always confront the weakness within himself. There are several varieties of boar, and this powerful medicine of the warrior clan applies to all of them. The Maya called boar javelina, and the Choctaws saw the razorback as wild boar. Its medicine teaches us to confront human weakness and to change them into strength. The human spirit is empowered through wild boar's willingness to confront fears, the challenges at hand, and uncomfortable circumstances, courageously standing tall without running from the situations that life presents. It's powerful medicine indeed. If wild boar has charged into your cards today, you're being asked to confront anything or anybody that you have been avoiding. Pay attention, embrace your warrior nature, and find the courage to confront your fears. Or you're being asked to confront a personal weakness or a career challenge. So it's time to finish projects that abandon your thinking. It might be too difficult to accomplish. Confront your feelings regarding some situation and make your nervous or anything that causes discomfort, and bring yourself a peace of mind. It also helps with procrastination, reminding you to quit avoiding the inevitable. Challenges do not simply vanish. Unless you actively embrace your issues, you cannot reclaim your spirit's energy. Half the battle is won through the warrior's willingness to acknowledge and to accept the whole truth at all times. So for me, that reminds me of just like doing the shadow work. You have to feel it to heal it, allow it to come up. It reminds me also of it so here we're talking wild boar, but it also, the elephant kept coming in as the remover of obstacles, and that's been really in my consciousness. And in the Hindu faith, the Ganesh is always with the mother. The elephant is always alongside the mother. So I feel like here tonight, the wild boar sits alongside that cosmic mother that we called upon. Thank you. I hope that was I think that's a good one for you, Dude, and all of us today.
Yeah, no, that's a really good one, and I just sent gratitude up to Jamie. Yeah, no, that's a perfect card for today. Wild pigs up on the reservation. I think that's the same. I think it is. That is what they're saying. Pretty sure. We have the javelinas here, which actually are not porcine, but and there's an argument whether they're rodent or pigs or some other species, but we have them here too. Actually, I had them going right by the house last night. I think they're out there again because I hear my dogs barking. Kiwi.
Yeah. Oops. Making sure I'm not on mute. One thing that comes to mind as I listen to what you were sharing there, Melissa, is the contrariness of things. I found it was in isolation. When I thought I was isolating myself, I actually found connection and community. How when we think we're doing one thing, we're often doing another, but we don't realize it till we get to the end of the journey. Having the courage to step into those places and face them, and, along the way, I realized the importance of truth and how it brought up conflict in my body if I hadn't honored the truth or spoken truth. And I learned to go back to people that I had spoken words of untruth to and apologize and make amends where I needed to. And I would ask them, is there a way for me to make amends with this? Sometimes there is, sometimes there's not outwardly. But learning to walk with that truth was important, and realizing how connecting truth actually is. Truth brings life. Whereas when we don't tell a truth, for me, it was like I can only describe it as like somebody had taken the breath out of me. It just didn't vibe right. It didn't ring right. It left me feeling confronted, scared, of somebody finding out. And when you tell one untruth, if you're going to hide it, you've got to tell more to hide the first one. And it becomes a never-ending circle. It just winds us in and in and in with no ultimate end. There is nothing there. It's continual emptiness. Whereas telling the truth has substance that you can do something with, even if it's scary. Really, really important. If we're talking about coming from our hearts, that's how to get there, to work through the scary bits that hold us separate. Because fear is believing we're less than something. When I feel equal with something, I can step into the life of it. And that to me is part of what I found in learning to honor the truth of something. Talking stick in the middle.
Yeah, the truth is such a biggie. Always has been. And in a lot of indigenous communities, that's one, if you don't tell the truth, if you're caught out in lies, you are kicked right out of the community. Because back in the day, that could be the difference between life and death. And I know my friend Lawrence Little Thunder, my brother, his grandfather used to talk about that a lot. His grandfather was 103 when he passed. So boy, he had stories way back in the beginning. So yeah, the truth is really important. I know when I was younger, and even just small, what you consider small lies, they just don't work. I'll say nothing if I feel like, oh, if I tell this person this, it's just going to hurt them for no reason. Then I'll say nothing. But I won't create a lie because that just, and again, nothing's perfect. Every once in a while I go, whoops, that wasn't true. And we're having now here in Turtle Island, but in other places, we're having it play out quite visibly on a national level. What happens when you lie? And the lies get bigger and bigger and confounded and circling each other, and we're ending up in a war of lies. So it's something we really need to work on, and it's something we'll need to work on as we weave a new existence. Valerie.
I can't agree more. Um, Especially back when Melissa was talking about the lack of good words. I think we have to pull from the indigenous teachings because I think of the word Debwewen, which is speaking from your heart. And that's what we need in this time, speaking from your heart with sincerity, rather than regurgitating what you're told your team wants to say. And you know what I mean by that. We have lots of teams, and that needs to come to a close. We need to find our common ground. We need to build community, and yes, we need to reach across to those that we disagree with in this time to build that community. So I think that's something that each of us need to take pause about and consider. How can I build community? How can I bridge in ways that we all speak the same language, that heart language? One way I'm thinking is through plants. Strangely enough, I think it's a common language. My next door neighbor who's toward that other side politically grows tomatoes, and I'm like, okay, we could do a little exchange here. I'm really good at growing kale and some of the greens, so maybe we can. So we speak a common language when it comes to plants, and maybe think about ways that we can bridge in this time, ways that we can build community. So talking stick in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely right. And that doesn't mean we can bridge to everybody. There's some, and that's okay, just turn and that's been another common theme lately. As we shift and turn and change and learn new things, not everybody we associated with before will be walking with us now. And that's okay too. It's not a negative thing. Early on when I was younger, I used to think, boy, I must have really screwed up. What did I do to get these people so angry? It took me a while to realize, oh, I didn't do anything. I changed and or they changed. And so that's part of the walk, definitely. And Sarah had to leave since she said thanks to everybody to have something with their children. Ooh, okay. Melissa, yeah. You're muted.
I,
It's cutting in and out, Melissa.
Try leaning in, Melissa. See if that
I
works.
no. That's so weird.
Hmm.
Yeah, still cutting in and out.
Play with it a minute. We'll call Jerry up. Mr. Jerry.
First, I want to say hi to the people in Pine Ridge. I want to say hi to the youth council. I want to say hi to the grandmothers. Say hi to all of you there. Good to be able to reach out and talk to you again, share with you. So, for several reasons, I believe, they want this story told also.
Uh,
This happened during a time long ago, shortly after the people had ended their great migration. There was among the people, then, 4 old ones who would spend their days together. They had no responsibilities, for one was blind, one was crippled, one was deaf, and there was one who was very forgetful. Their families cared for them, and they had nothing to do, so they would come together and sit with each other each day. They would sit together and enjoy each other's company. And so it was that they were sitting together in this friendly manner one day when something incredible happened. The sun began to go dark. The people had never seen an eclipse before, so they were frightened. They didn't know what was happening. It had been a clear, warm day with the sun hanging high in the sky. Suddenly it began to disappear, and the world began to grow dark in the middle of the day. There was panic. People were running about. Some were crying and screaming. But the 4 old ones just sat quietly. Soon the sun disappeared. The world grew dark like the middle of the night. The old ones sat calmly and remained with each other. After a short time, the sun began to reappear. That first bright glimmer of light touched the old ones. It was like a warm hand reaching out to them. And in their minds, they heard a voice speaking to them. Suddenly, they were taken to a place they could never have imagined. It was a place of perfection. They could see all that was going on in the world. They could see what had happened in the past, and they could see things that had not yet happened. The voice continued to speak to them. It revealed many things to them. It explained to them just who they were and their responsibilities for this world. It gave them all the teachings and wisdoms, and it explained to them that they would be responsible for taking these back to the people, for keeping them and passing them on. But they were told that they would have help. They were told that they need not worry. They were told that all truth dwelt in nature. For everything, there was a living example of that lesson in nature. This would help them in their new responsibilities. They were told that they would be called elders. Suddenly, the old ones found themselves sitting back in the village again. The sun shone warmly on them. Their infirmities were gone. They had all been healed. The people saw this and knew that something wonderful had happened. But when they spoke, the people realized that something great had happened indeed. The old ones, after this, were no longer ignored. The people came to them to learn, to hear the lessons of life, stories, and many other things. They were called elders, and they were revered for their wisdom and help. And so it was in this way that the first elders came to be. But in this story, people were talking about truth, and they were told all truth dwelt in nature. Our elder brothers, before these first elders were created, our elder brothers and sisters of Tavosiam, the animal kingdom, were the living examples of those teachings, of those wisdoms, of that truth and that beauty everywhere. All we have to do is look around us in nature. All we have to do is connect with the mother and her children. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. And I was waiting for the time to put it in, but that was good timing. The folks up in Pine Ridge, the council, and everybody else they wanted me to say hello to you and glad to see you. And they have a request that when you have time to drop in periodically and make sure you bring a story. So there you have it. So good timing. Last night I was talking with some folks up in Northern California, and I was talking with some of the tribal members of the Yurok tribe, and we had a really good conversation. And one of their grandfathers told one of their stories. about the redwoods, which I've asked him to connect with me later and share it with me again, because I just got some of it because I was busy trying to coordinate the meeting. But it's good to hear all these different stories. A woman today down at the ceremony, down at the water, African descent, she told one of her stories, a coming over story from when they were brought here. And boy, I mean, it's just right now, the stories are just really, really powerful. And I'm just thinking, as Jerry was telling that one thing that really comes strongly to me, I mean, it always does, but right now, and out of today's program and some things I've been doing lately, there's 4 key elements for me right now. And in this order: nature. The second one is nature. The third one is nature, and the fourth one is nature. Get out there and connect with the mother. It's the mother who's going to determine how much we can work within ourselves and within our communities. And what pieces can we bring back? Not the way it was, it doesn't have to be that, but to a way that's going to be good and healthy and safe and loving for all those who follow us. So, yeah, I mean, I really feel that strongly, and I felt it on that call. And 3 of them were in the heart of the redwoods while we had that call, and boy, could I feel it. I could feel the roots. Or maybe I ate the wrong food and I was itching, but I don't think so. I think I felt the roots. Thanks, Sherry. That was a great story. Perfect again. Timing. Who else? Is it working? No. Darn. Whoop, whoop, it almost came on. No. Breaking up, cracking up. Oh boy. Okay. Jerry.
I've got to go to another Zoom. So I want to thank everybody. It's good to see you all. Good to be here again. Everyone have a wonderful night. Enjoy the power of that moon, and be well.
Sounds good, and just remember the
Thank you.
teaching from the 60s when I started. Peace, love, and rock and roll, brother.
Party on, dude.
Be well.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you so much.
Whoops. Okay, so we've got about 15 minutes. Anything else we need to cover? Anybody who hasn't spoken who wishes to, or anybody who wants to say more? Except Melissa, until she can figure out what the hell's going on. Whoops, did we just lose her? I guess we did. Must be her connection. Valerie.
You had brought it up earlier, and I kind of, it intrigued me. I don't know if it's possible for the Pine Ridge students to tell us a little more in depth about their experience during the cold water camp. And I don't know if that's possible
Any,
because technology, but I would love to hear more. I'd love to hear more specifics. What were some of the lessons? What were some of the daily chores? I mean, I just have tons of questions. Spiritual wise, did they start the day? I would imagine with prayer, but was it the 4 direction prayers? I just have so many questions. So that's just me. But I'd love to hear more.
yeah, and they're rapidly typing stuff in. They shared some before, but I don't think we got it on air. And next time we can start it sooner so we have more time with it. Some of the things that impress them. they didn't know about the Iroquois Confederacy, which was what Brother David was talking about. They actually didn't know, even though they're tribal. They kind of heard about it, what is it, airily, I guess, just in passing somewhere. So to meet with some of those relatives, they found powerful. The fire was going all the time, it still is, and they felt that was very sacred. They would sit there late at night, they would get up early in the morning, and they'd go, and the young people had their own little prayer ceremony before the major prayer ceremony started. And they found that very empowering. That's my word, but I think that's what they're saying. I don't know in this case, I don't know the Lakota word they used. Tom says empowering works. Okay. They loved the way community people would show up and see if they needed anything. Too many people on the reservation are still stuck in us and them, white and red, and we became aware it can be everybody. Not easy. There's a lot in the past, but that's not for just us. That's for everybody. So that back and forth was very engaging to them. Just sitting and going into their own space, being outside all the time. They had tents, but that's it. And they had the ability. They were allowed to use the restrooms in the park. Pardon me. The State Park Service never officially recognized what they were doing, but they said we're here and we'll support you, and you can use it, but we can't officially say anything. Oh, watching people of all colors were in the streets. So they did see some of the demonstrations went right by where they were, because that building, the Jennings building, was right across the way. So there were huge masses of people marching, and nothing, of course, on mainstream media. They made like there was a few nutcases out in the street, and they're still out there every day. Big numbers of people. And for themselves, just feeling their own, what's that word? What's that mean, Tom? Their own inner strength. Realizing they could do more than they thought. Okay. So that's some quick thoughts, and they'd be happy to talk about it more later. We can make sure we leave some spot. In general, let's check in with them and see what they're, because it's now been 2.5 months that they've been doing this. And that's some powerful stuff. They have, there's another group from another res that we're asking them about it. So they are exporting some of what we've been doing and just telling them, here's the kind of thing you can do. So I don't know if they'll show up on our thing. It doesn't matter. Show up anywhere. It's good. It's positive.
Maybe if they're up to it, they can kick it off next week, and we can kind of feature some of their thoughts, and where to go with it. Are we going to build on this, which sounds like they already have, which is very exciting.
So yes, they'd be happy to have opening thoughts. They want to sit and consider where and what we might want to share. That's fine. Good. Okay.
That's very good. Thank you so much.
So we can open that way. Very good. Kiwi.
Yeah, sort of jumping in with it now as I'm listening to things as well. And just wanting to acknowledge the Youth Council and how much you actually bring to these meetings, and the teachings and things that you've learned along the way, and the way you share them. is really helpful. And I've got to say, I'm very pleasantly uplifted by what the youth, all of you as youth council are sharing. And yeah, I acknowledge the space that you bring to this, and would like to make sure you've got space to share all that you feel you've got to contribute, because it's coming across really well. Thank you. And thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. That's good, and they're hearing you. And for next week, they will, I don't know what that word is either, I'm sorry. Maybe my brain's tired, I'm having trouble. They will think about what sorts of things we might share together. Perfect. And yeah, I mean, it's amazing they've done this. So, here we go. Everybody, give it some energy. Go, Melissa.
Are we there? Can you hear me? Okay.
It works. See, prayer works.
Thank you. Yeah, I echo everything that we're speaking about with our youth. It's so important that we have that input. So please, yeah, message us throughout the week and let us know and see where it's driving. But I believe that they're already driving the bus. So thank you. I wanted to share because I'm going to bring in some Rudolf Steiner. So as a person that dabbles in anthroposophy quite often, because I just feel it's such a beautiful way to kind of bring things all together at times. And in 1912, Dr. Steiner wrote, "A lie is a murder in the etheric world." So I love, ether. Ether is that fifth element. It's spirit. So in the anthroposophical cosmology, the etheric body is the life-giving field that sustains living beings. It's also where, if you study any traditional Chinese medicine, or you study about the chakras, Sanskrit, Ayurvedic techniques, that's the chakra system, rainbow in our body. And Steiner believed that when a person intentionally speaks untruth, that creative life force connected with speech are misused, producing destructive effects in the etheric realm. So this is just showing how, we are part of this, the micro, the meso, the macro. We've talked about the mycelium, right, Valerie, that we see underneath us, and it's so connected. So truth aligns the human being with cosmic order and moral imagination. Lies create disintegration in this etheric field. Therefore, truthfulness is a prerequisite for higher spiritual perception. So this kind of gives us this happily ever after, as we close for tonight. The light has won. There has to be some darkness. This is a Broadway play. We get to do it again. Some of us, anyhow. Some of us choose to work from the other realm. Some of us choose this experiment. I have this file, and it's been in my computer for like 10, 12 years now, or maybe 15. No. And it's called the "You Can't Make This SHIT Up" file, because that's just what it is. And now it's ever growing. So I just love it. So Steiner, speech is a creative act, and truthful speech builds the life forces. So the more true you are, the more heart-centered you are, that's the real power. And that's the connection, like we learn from nature, and just the way that we plant. And just think about the three sisters, it's like, the squash cover up the weeds, the corns grow and the beans wrap around the corn shoot. Like that teaching alone in the garden connects us to nature. So I love how murder in the etheric world. That phrase is just like, yeah, when you lie, and it's written about in so many different ways, but the lies and the illusion, or we call it the Maya, right? The illusion is so connected. So, untruthfulness works, as this like destructive force. So that's what we're seeing. We're seeing this great break. The more and more and more that the truth comes out, the more of the wolves are gathering and the eagles are gathering, or, the black sheep, the lone wolf, those of us that felt that we were so alone for so long, that we felt like we were so crazy, and we'd hear things or see things, or a lot of us connected to nature, that's just commonplace. Like, what, we talk about it a lot in our different circles. You don't converse with nature that way. You don't listen, you don't sing to your plants. And we know these experiments of the talking to the plants, sending love, saying I hate you, saying I love you to the plants, and we've studied it. The one you say you love to the plant is flowering and blossoming, and the ones that you send hate to are discordant. So nature is geometries. It's beautiful rhythm, routine, harmony that was echoed throughout Jerry's storytelling. We're so blessed to have him come on to share the Hopi stories. So I just wanted to say thank you for what a beautiful, beautiful evening yet again, for all of your energies. Even those of you that joined and didn't say anything, your love, your energy, your heart is with us. So I'm really excited. So thank you so much. And I will put that in the middle.
And it worked. So, yeah, just briefly, I do want to talk a bit about healing with nature next week. So that'll be in the pot, which is interesting. I've been doing a lot of, not just clearing. I've been doing clearing anyway. We have to get rid of all the old garbage so we have room. But the physical parts too. So I resonated when you spoke, Melissa. A healer friend from Belize I've been in touch with, and she's been giving me all kinds of suggestions and asking me for mine. So it's really good. So we can talk about that, guys. You guys lead it, and we'll just tag in. Who would like to? Oh wow, we're all at time. I don't know. Robbie, do you feel like doing a prayer to put us out from the other side of the world, or no?
I don't think I can do that.
Couldn't hear you. No? Okay. Who brought us in? Oh, Melissa brought us in. David? Maybe?
I could give her
Nobody?
a shot.
Or Chris will? Whatever.
Give
Okay.
her a shot, I guess. Great Creator, we thank you for this gathering in this circle this evening. We pray that everybody feels revitalized and in a positive way, so that they may be able to pass on the positive energy outside the circle in society that really needs it today. We thank you that you blessed us all to be able to be here for this circle today. Pray that you keep us all in good health. You bless all those that are away from home and serving the country and their families. You be with them, and that you bless us all until we meet again next week. Oh.
Aho. Thank you. And so with that,
Aho.
everybody enjoy the full moon tonight. Absorb some of that energy. And we'll get up tomorrow ready to do it all again. Thanks, everybody. Love you all, and everybody who listens. Feel free to spread this around as you've been, that we welcome that. Anybody this can help or guide or whatever, or wants to put in their 2 cents, that's why we're doing it. Okay? Bye all. I always forget how to do this. Oh, here it is.
Bye, and thank you.
Thank you. Love you.
Love you too.